Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you? Well, y'all look good. You don't sound very good. You look pretty good. Okay. My name is Mitchell Moe, and we're going to spend a few minutes this morning on this topic of tool hacks, equipment hacks, tips for Yardeners, etc., that kind of thing. So, what does that mean when you say, you hear that a lot. You can go to most any of these websites, blogs, and so on, they're talking about hacks. What is a hack? Yes, sir.
Something to make your life easier.
Yeah, to make something easier, right? Make it less painful, easier to accomplish, take a little strain, a little stress off. Now, there's always, in most every case, typically, there's more than one way to do something. Or there's more than one tool. There used to be a TV show that came on public television, the Red Green Show.
I love that show.
Yeah, the old Red Green Show. And he had a saying, that any tool can be the right tool. It can be. And the duct tape was a handyman's secret weapon, So, and so there was a lot of improvisation taking place, I guess, and things like that. But, we're going to spend a few minutes this morning talking about some things that you can utilize in your own landscapes, your own garden and such, that might make some chores a little easier. Now, I've got some things listed up here shown on this display board. And first thing, let's mention, weeding is an essential part. For lots of gardeners, weeding is an essential task, okay? There's no law says you got to weed, all right? No law says that. If you want to have weeds in your stuff, that's your business, it's your stuff, okay? No, that's, don't worry about what folks talk about you, that's okay. If that suits you, it suits me. But
sometimes the weeds help,
well, they do have roots that help hold the world together, that's right. They do produce oxygen and so on, sure they do.
I was going more with the fact that you're on native pollinators.
Well, it's not just weeds. A lot of things do that. Most anything with flower we call pollinator. But if you do have an ornamental bed and you've got it mulched nice and so on, weeds still grow in there. So there's a lot of different hoes in the world. Okay, hoes, H-O-E. It's a tillage tool, a cultivation tool. The old standard gooseneck hoe has been around for years and years. But if you're working in a cultivated bed or in a bed it's been prepared, the soil is nice and loose, so it's not hard packed ground. A tool that works awfully good is this, and I failed to bring one with me this morning. It's a thing called a scuffle hoe or a hula hoe or an action hoe, a stirrup hoe, but by different names. You can see it right here. The reason I feel like it's a little easier to use is, with a typical hoe, real traditional hoe, I have to make it work. Well, you got to chop an action. You got to pick it up, put it down, pick it up, put it down. With a scuffle hoe, you don't. You sit the thing flat on the ground, you don't ever have to pick it up. You just slide it back and forth. Because it's got a knife edge on both sides of the blade, it cuts going forward, it cuts going back, it slices things off. It works really good. Now, it's not going to dig ground, it's not made to. It's a cultivation tool to cut weeds or to cut plant tops off. And it just slices them off at the surface of the ground. So, you have reduced effort on your part to do the same kind of job. If you need to lay off rows, if you need to dig holes, that's not the thing for you. But just for cultivating in nice landscape areas that are prepared, well-prepared garden beds, vegetable beds, etc. Really good. I've got one at home I use every year, just in the garden, because it's really good for cultivating. Okay. And speaking along the lines of making things easy for digging tools, it's those square pointed spades. They can be useful for a lot of things. If you're going to dig a hole, a round point probably works better. But if you've got to cut things, if you say you're going to build a patio, or you're going to make a new bed out here somewhere, and you've got grass growing there. All right, well, you want to take that grass up. Okay.
It's good for moving the sod.
Well, it is good for moving the sod. But even what'll make it better for moving the sod, if you just take a file or a grinder and put an edge on it, you can sharpen the edge of that just like you can sharpen an axe, you can sharpen a hoe handle or a hoe blade, whatever the case may be. And that makes it easier. You take an axe, okay, cut strips of sod, all right, because all you're trying to do is just cut through the roots and up, and then work this under there, slicing with that sharpened edge. And you can cut those sections of sod out, lift and put them somewhere else if you need to fill in a bare space, and then you've got the area clear of sod, clear of grass for you to go and create a new bed. That just makes it a lot easier than going there and digging it up, plowing it up. You have to spray it with something and kill it and work it in the ground, and then you can use it somewhere else. But a little deal like that, if let's say you're gonna dig up a shrub or something, you got one that died, okay? This is good for cutting those little roots, okay? Dead roots like that works good for that. But you can put an edge on it just like you can any other kind of cutting tool. typically think about that, but it makes life a little bit simpler. Still thinking about weed control, okay, some cultivation in beds and so on. Sometimes, you know, people plant, and it's not uncommon at all, but flower beds, ornamental beds, so on will be planted very tight. And you'll have lots and lots of desirable plants, but then you have the weeds pop up in them. And, for example, you see Bermuda grass right here, growing up in around this little ripe, this ornamental grass like that. Okay? Now, are there herbicide products that will kill this Bermuda grass? Well, there are.
But it also killed the ornamental grass.
It could very likely kill the ornamental grass if you come into contact with it. So, in places where you don't have enough room to spray without getting on desirable plants, so what do you do? Well, some people are going to go ahead and dig it out by hand. That's great exercise. It is good exercise, good before you get down to the beach. Kind of keeps you home. Okay, keeps you home. But there are things you can do to still use that herbicide and still maybe diminish the opportunity to cause negative impact on desirable plants. One way is to use a rubber glove and an old cotton glove or a sock over it. Just slide the glove on your hand, slide the cotton glove over that one, or again, an old sock, wet sock, anything like that will work good. Instead of mixing your spray solution up in a sprayer, mix it up in a container, a bucket, okay, a cup, whatever. Get your hand down in there because you've got this chemical resistant glove. Now you've got a wick here, an application surface. Dip your fingers in that, and then you go there, you got a weed, you got a good plant, rub the weed, don't rub the good plant. You can be very precise about how you do that. You can work around in and around desirable plants with things like glyphosate, non-selective herbicide products, and you can be very precise, almost surgical in where you apply the product like that. So you cut down the incidence of having undesirable or collateral damage, if you will, on desirable plants. Now, you know, having to bend over, if you get older and so on, it's not the most fun. The ground gets further away, you know, the joints, the hinges don't work as good as they once did. And if you've got a lot of stuff, a lot of weeds to control in places like that really tight, you might get tired of bending it so. So what can you do? Well, you could create what's called a hooded sprayer. All right, hooded sprayers have been used in agriculture for years and years and years. In essence, you take a sprayer and you enclose it in a hood, and then you bring that sprayer down very close to the target. And so the hood then contains that spray when it's released out of the spray nozzle to the confines of whatever that hood is over. All right, so you do the same thing on just one of these garden type sprayers that a homeowner could use. A lot of things will work. I like a funnel, okay, a funnel, because number one, they're in nice shape. Okay, they're shaped the way you want to. So you just screw the tip off the sprayer itself, and like this. Slide that up over it and put your tip back on. Remember that handyman secret weapon we talked about, duct tape? A little duct tape wrapped right around here, and now you've got your hood in place. And then you can come along and you can set this down. You got weed here, you set it down and shoot it. You set it down and shoot, you set it down and shoot. You be very precise about where you place the herbicide product. You don't worry about collateral damage, move it offside, you don't get desirable plants. So you've taken the sprayer and made it a more effective tool, a more precise tool like this for applying things like that. So again, just something to make life just a little bit simpler. It may be that you have to cut the tip off the end of the funnel. That's okay. Off the spout, off the nozzle, make it fit. You really use it. Now, do not, I would advise you to not take this funnel in after you use it to apply herbicide for a while and go use it to put oil in the lawnmower and things like that. Now, fashion is a big deal, okay, in the garden and landscape. Now, if you, on a hot day, you want to weed eat, that kind of thing, short pants are the clothing of choice, I suppose. But, you ever weed eat with short pants on?
Yeah, sure.
It's your life. Oh man, where's your legs out some? Okay, well, or You don't want to get grass all over the clothes you have on, the pants you have on. So, make yourself a pair of jeans. Okay, just take an old pair of sweatpants. Cut the legs off the sweatpants, then slide them backwards over, just like this fella here in the picture. And you've got a pair of little chaps right there to protect yourself, protect your pants, keep them get so nasty. You want to wear short pants to keep the grass, the debris that's on it, the weeder's going to beat up, from throw that against your legs. Okay, works pretty good. You can throw them in the wash. I've had this pair right here, I don't know how long I've had. Use them a lot. You can tell, I don't wash them every day. Again, I leave them out in the barn, typically. Okay. This time of the year, what kind of season? We're going into fall season. So deciduous trees are starting to drop leaves. All right, so is it necessary to get leaves up? Okay, do you need to rake the leaves up? So, well, maybe. Just depends on what the situation. If you're trying to grow grass, yeah, you want to get the leaves up, because if you have a thick enough layer of leaves that will obstruct light, then you're going to cause damage to the grass, because that grass blades have got to be able to intercept sunlight so they make their own energy and so on. If they're covered up with a thick enough layer of leaves, you can't do that. All right, so removing leaves is a frequent fall time chore. Raking leaves is not a lot of fun, so they make leaf blowers. Well, that's okay, to an extent it is. But something that you still got, if you get those things in a pile, you still got to do something with them. Like, you're going to burn them, or you're going to put them in a compost pile, you're going to shred them up and work them in a garden patch, or you're going to pull them out on the street, for the city of Murfreesboro, or whomever to pick up. Well, those are all options, okay? What you do with them, that's your business. But if the idea is you're going to move from one place to another, a way to help do that is just use a tarp. Now, right here, we're showing an example of pruning ornamental grasses, okay? Like pampas grass or something like that, okay? Now, anybody ever done that? Pruned a big old bundle of ornamental grass, a bunch of that? So if you go in there and you start whacking on it, you got lots of pieces. Lots of pieces. And then cleanup, typically takes longer than it does to cut the stuff all off. All right, so we'll come back to the tarp in just a moment. But if you want to cut that grass and make life simpler, before you ever cut it the first time, take a piece of twine, wrap around the bundle. Or again, it's that handyman secret weapon, take duct tape, wrap around. Bundle it up. So then you cut it off, now you've got a bundle ready to move. You move one piece versus all those hundreds of pieces that are in that bundle. Now, if you've got lots of those to carry off, spread that tarp out, pile the stuff up on the tarp, and drag it off. Okay, easy to do. Same thing with leaves. Blow the leaves in a pile up on the tarp. If you got a big enough tarp, you've got a bigger pile. The leaves aren't very heavy. A single person or two people working together can move a lot of leaves stacked up on a tarp very easily. All right. So that's just a way to help improve life, make things a little bit easier as you work around trying to do those things. Anybody that ever participates in extension meetings long enough is going to hear somebody suggest to you that you need to take soil samples. Fertilize based on soil test results. Okay, and that's the reason for taking soil samples. So you get a soil test, and you get the results from the soil test, and that soil test is going to make fertilizer recommendations for different crops you have based on what's in the ground. Okay, the nutritional content of the ground, based on the soil pH, the amount of phosphorus, the potassium, and calcium, etc. that's in the soil. Now, how do you take a soil sample? Well, what makes a good soil sample? Well, a good soil sample is a sample that represents the area that you're managing. Whether it's a garden spot, whether it's a yard, whether it's a pasture field, or whatever the case may be, that sample represents that area. So if you go to a spot in the middle of the yard, say, I'm going to take my soil sample right here. Does that spot represent the yard? Maybe. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that's where the folks that lived there before you buried old Fluffy, and you dig down in there, and the results might be skewed because of Fluffy's contribution to the soil profile. All right, could be. So, a way to ensure that you have a more representative sample is to go to multiple locations, just kind of random, so that you basically cover the area and pull a lot of subsamples. Well, how much soil does it take to have the soil test? It doesn't take a lot. Typically, about a cup of soil is enough. Okay, that's enough. Matter of fact, the UT soil lab, our soil test boxes will hold about a cup. Okay, about a cup. Now, what kind of tool do you have to use to take the sample? It doesn't matter. You don't have to use any particular tool. Anything you can dig with to get that 6-inch profile of soil, because that's what you want to sample. You want to sample the top 6 inches. So any kind of digging tool, it could be a shovel, it could be a post hole digger, whatever the case may be, to get that 6-inch profile. Okay? With a shovel, you wind up digging up a lot more dirt than you need. All right, with a post hole digger, you wind up a lot more dirt than you do. What works really good is a soil probe. How many of you have a soil probe? I don't see a hand go up. Have you ever seen a soil probe for sale at a local garden center? You can buy them, and they think a lot of them in most cases. You know, a nice 4-foot soil probe with a foot pad on it. You know, it's got that 18-inch tube in it. Close to $100. Well, a piece of conduit, okay, a 1/2-inch, 3/4-inch conduit, you do the same thing. Because what you do with that probe, it takes a core sample. You push the thing in the ground, you pull it out, you got to plug the dirt. Okay, that's what you do with the probe. Now, this only works on soft ground. It doesn't work on hard ground. But typically, it doesn't matter.
It's not hard ground if you use a hammer.
Well, yeah, but then you got to poke stuff out too. So, but just take this thing, take your little hammer, take a dowel rod, go around, mark. You know, take a marker, put a piece of duct tape, just something on there to mark your 6 inches. Drive in there 6 inches deep, pull it out, take your dowel rod, poke the plug out into the bucket, go to the next place, do the same thing. You have cut down on the amount of damage you've done to whatever it is. If it's a lawn, existing turf, you don't want to dig all these different holes in the yard. You just pull it out of the core, you drop that over in the bucket, then you crush it up, mix them all together, you've got yourself a good soil sample. Okay, representative of the area that you're going to be testing. It makes life a little simpler. You don't have to dig as much dirt. It's not as much hard work on you, probably, as compared to we cultivate. You know, we cultivate, great leaves, dig stuff in the garden, in the yard, in the landscape, and so on. We talked about some things to make that a little simpler. Pruning is another chore. All right, it's a chore. What are you talking about? Pruning shrubs, pruning trees, and shrubs. You know, we can reach those pretty good. Typically, you know, I mean, you can have tall shrubs for sure. You have to climb a ladder, you know. But typically, you can reach shrubs without having to extend yourself a whole lot. And shrubs are small. You know, the limbs on shrubs, you can cut those with a pair of hand loppers, whether it's the lopper style hand pruner. Anything over probably a 1/2 inch, you need to use the loppers on versus the hand pruner. Anything 1/2 inch, you can cut with hand pruner. Depending on what your hand strength is. Okay, you can vary from person to person. But on trees, you pretty much get out of the hand pruner phase, and you're in a lopper and a saw phase. You're trying to prune trees. Radford pears probably produce more wood than most any other tree out there. You know, they got limbs growing every which way, they grow all tangled up, and some of those limbs can get big. It's not just Radford pears, any of them will do that. But a pruning saw is a really good tool to have. Now, is this a pruning saw?
No.
No. I mean, can you use it to prune with? Absolutely.
I think it's one of the best ones I've ever used.
Absolutely, you can use it to prune. It's a bow saw.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a bow saw. It's got this guard on right here. That's a nice thing to have. The bow saw, you know, it has a fairly thin blade in it. It's got some pretty aggressive teeth on there. It can work fine. It can work fine. But if you have never used a pruning saw, I encourage you to try it. Because the pruning saw is made a little different. It has a thicker blade, okay,
My grandfather has one of those on a stick, on a
on the end of a rod.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can prune up high. But the way these teeth are made, this saw cuts when you pull back, okay? I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity to try them side by side, try the bow saw, try the pruning saw on the same size piece of wood. You'll cut through much faster with less effort. In my experience, with a pruning saw. Okay? These things, again, they cut going forward, but they cut really good coming back.
Yeah, it's made like a Japanese saw.
And you have less, you know, it is easier to pull back on that than it is to push forward. It's, you have the advantage, pulling back on it versus pushing forward. And so those make life easier. And you can prune with lots of things. Okay, you can prune with most any kind of saw to cut the wood. I've seen people use a hacksaw. Okay, slow. You know, got lots of little bitty teeth on there. You do it, sure you can. You can use a handsaw, a wood saw. Absolutely, you can use a chainsaw. Sometimes a chainsaw is the best thing. Chainsaw, you cut it off right here at the ground, let it make one cut. That's the best pruning cut for lots of things. It is. Grab pears, lemon cypress, you ought to do that. Okay? But for making, and these will make very clean cuts. All right? And you know, this saw will do, both saw make clean cuts also. Don't get me wrong there. But as far as ease of cutting, it's hard to beat a good pruning saw. And they come in lots of different lengths, a lot of different sizes. Like the young man over here mentioned, you can get pruners, pruning poles. They'll have a pruning saw blade on the end of the pole, so you can cut things over your head, so on. But that's just something to make life a little simple. Now, as I say, sometimes you find yourself in the need of a larger capacity spray. If you're gonna apply a fungicide product to, maybe you're a grower. You know, maybe you got a quarter acre of pumpkins. All right. Well, you know, you've got quarter acre pumpkins. You can have several pumpkins out of that quarter acre field. If you keep the bugs out of them, if you keep the powdered mildew off of them, you keep the downy mildew off of them, and so on. Why are you going to do that? Well, sometimes you just cross your fingers and hope. And sometimes it works, lots of times that doesn't work. You've got to do something in there to protect the plant. Use a plant protection material, whether it's a fungicide or insecticide, whatever it takes to protect it. And, you know, a quarter acre, you're not going to go out here and buy a tractor and spray rig to do that. All right, because you may decide I don't want to be in a pumpkin business forever, but you need some way to take care of those things. These backpack sprayers are some of the handiest tools that come down the pipe. And they work great for homeowners, they work great for small growers, they work great for lots of, you know, landscape maintenance folks and so on. But, are they perfect? Well, no. Nothing else is perfect. Nothing's perfect. But one of the disadvantages, or a couple of disadvantages, of the backpack sprayer, excuse me. A couple of disadvantages of the backpack sprayer. I'm gonna try to put this on. You know, it's kind of like doing a card trick or something in front of people. It tends to work better at home than it does out here in public. I'm just glad I'm not having my britches on. All right. So get this thing on here. Let's just show you a couple of things with this. All right. Now. So this thing, you know, there's not a pressure gauge on it. So how do you build pressure when you pump it? Okay, this has got a pump, it's got a piston pump. You can see the pump working up and down here on the back of the sprayer. So you pump it up, you build the pressure, and you release it. You've got a trigger right here. Some folks say that this is a very efficient tool because it's connected to a brain and not a machine. Depends on the person, I guess, whether it's any better or not. But I think what they mean when they say that is, you know, the operator, the applicator has the wand, has the trigger in their hand. If they see a problem, they can immediately stop an application versus a mounted machine or a ride-on machine. It may take a bit longer to stop a spray application. But this thing, you know, you build the pressure by pumping. How much pressure do you build? Well, they're rated up to some maximum. I think it was rated up to like 90 pounds of pressure. You can build up 90 pounds of pressure for this pump. But as soon as you release some spray solution, do you change the pressure in the tank? Well, you do. Okay, you do. And do you keep a constant pressure in the tank? Probably not. Okay, because you're constantly pumping, you're constantly spraying. So, is that a deficiency? When you think about accuracy of application, correctness of application, the fluctuating pressure influence the application? It does. It does. It influences the output rate. Okay? The higher the pressure, it's going to change the amount of spray volume that comes out of this tip up to a point. You know, this tip will only allow so much out in the first place. But typically, they will allow a range out, whether, you know, in gallons per minute, etc. So the higher the pressure, typically the greater the volume that comes out. The lower the pressure, the lower the volume of material that comes out. So, if there were a way to keep the pressure steady, you're going to improve the accuracy of application. If you improve the accuracy of application, you may improve just the control. Okay, whether it's controlling disease, controlling insecticide, controlling weeds, because you have a uniform application. How can you do that? Well, you can install, you know, a pressure valve, not valve, but a gauge, and you can monitor the pressure. Okay, but the pressure's still going to change. One of the neatest things I've ever seen is this little valve right here. It's this thing screwed on. It's called a CF valve. CF stands for constant flow. These things are kind of, they're sort of standardized. Any liquid that comes out here, I assure you, there's nothing but clean water. This right there, anything but pure water, so don't be alarmed. These things are standardized into 4 sizes. This red one right here is rated at 21 psi. There's a 15 psi. There's a 29 or almost a 31 psi, and then a 40, 42 psi. And these are standardized to fit the threads of most common sprayers, whether they're Solo, this is Shindala sprayer, Jack Coke sprayers, Chafin sprayers, etc.
What's that?
This is the constant flow valve. It's called CF valve. So what? Oh, this is a 21.
Okay.
This is 21. Red is 21 on any of the brands in their color code. The red one's 21, yellow's a 15, and you got blue and the green. I can't remember which one's which on blue and the green.
Why did you pick 21?
Because you don't need a super high pressure rate. Okay. Typically, if you're going to go up over 30 pounds of pressure, then you're going to have a pump, a motorized pump, a mechanical pump, not a hand pump, not a hand pump. What this does, since it's rated 21 psi, this thing will not. You squeeze the trigger. You pump this thing up. You squeeze the trigger. It will not allow spray and discharge until you reach 21 psi. And this is the part I really like. Regardless of how hard you pump, you can build up 90 pounds of pressure in this tank. It's only going to allow the output at 21 psi. So your output rate stays the same. So that's consistency. Okay, that's consistency. So you got a much more accurate application. So if we have cured our fluctuating pressure problem because of constant pumping as we apply, what's some other drawbacks? Well, another thing that affects application is how close to the target this thing is. The spray can, okay? How close to the target it is. If you walk and spray a quarter-acre field of pumpkins, you know, chances are you're going to be higher in some places and lower in some places. You're going to have consistent height. So again, then you've got a little fluctuation in your application. What if you can keep it at a consistent height? Well, I think about that. Well, why can't you do that? So I made a lanyard. Now this is set for me. So I've got this little SO just clamped on in the line out here. And I attach it behind it right here. If I put that on my hip and I hold it there, that tip's going to be 21 inches above the ground. Okay, why 21 inches above the ground? Most herbicide products, especially herbicides, tell you that you ought to keep your application height at 24 inches or lower. Okay, because the higher you get above the target, then the better chance you've got for wind blowing the herbicide product off target and causing damage to other material, to desirable plants. And it's more of an issue with the herbicide than it is with the fungicide or the insecticide. Because, you know, the herbicides are there to kill plants of some kind. They're called damage plants sometimes. So this will allow you then to keep maintaining a constant height, pretty constant height, and a pretty constant application rate. You improve the overall accuracy and the correctness of your application. You know, is this thing expensive? No. And this one, I mean, I'll tell you where it came from. Dickens Turkey Landscape in Murfreesboro, out there on Thompson Line.
Where?
Dickens Turkey Landscape. They've got, and it's not the only place, that's just where this one came from. You can order them online, AM Leonard, Gimpler Supply, different companies, Forestry Supply Service, lots of places that sell these things. I think this would cost you $13, $15. Not very much. Okay, not very much. And it's a good thing that you ensure that you
Should last a long time.
It should, because
Yeah.
you don't have much in the way of moving parts. You got a little diaphragm in there, okay? They don't have a lot of moving parts. Not a lot of moving parts. So, here in the last 45 minutes or so, we've talked about some different things that you can do, utilize to maybe make some of these gardening and landscaping and lawn care chores just a little bit easier. So, to answer, you know, the question she had while I left this thing outside, well, I'm assuming it got rusty. Okay, I got rusty.
Yeah.
All right, well, so what can you do to clean the rust off of it? Well, sandpaper, emery cloth.
Coke works.
I can't hear you.
Soaking in Coca-Cola,
Coke?
gets rust off.
Okay. The acidity of that, I'm assuming.
Yes,
is-
the phosphoric acid.
Okay. But just light emery cloth, okay, a little light sandpaper. Could be steel wool, a coarse Scotch-Brite pad, a little WD-40, clean it off, sharpen it up, oil it. I tell you what else you can do. Get a bucket of sand. Get a 5-gallon bucket. You know, and fill it with sand, put a little used oil in there, and run it up down there a few times. That'll scour all that rust off too. Get that clean dirt off of it and so on.
And it'll put a rust protective coat on there too.
It will, with oil in there, absolutely will. Absolutely will. Okay. Well, you know, this is a little different kind of class this morning. No PowerPoints, no pretty slides or anything like that. Just kind of talking.